Our bodies are in constant need of nutrients and energy. With trillions of living cells all requiring nourishment and energy, the digestive system becomes all important in the survival of living things. For many animals on Earth, eating is a major part of daily life. That's because food contains the nutrients the body needs for growth, repair, and replacement. Also, food provides the energy that the body needs to carry out life-sustaining activities, as well as all the other kinds of activities we enjoy, such as sports. Food has to be prepared or broken down into the substances that the body can use. This process of breaking down food is called digestion and is the topic of this video. Our bodies need 6 main types of substances: proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. We also need water, which provides no nutrients or energy, but is critical to life. In fact, we could survive many days without food, but only a few days without water. Why is water so important? Well, just about every chemical reaction in the body must occur in the presence of water. Also, water carries substances throughout the body in the bloodstream. Water helps to keep our bodies at the proper temperature. Our bodies require about 2.5 to 4 liters of water a day. That's the equivalent of about 12 8-ounce glasses of water. All food and drinks contain water, so it is replenished throughout the day. Proteins are the main bodybuilding foods. They contain the materials for growth, repair, and replacement. Protein-rich foods include meat, fish, eggs, cheese, beans, peas, and vegetables. Breads and grains also contain protein, but to a lesser extent. The body's main source of energy comes from carbohydrates. Potatoes, pastas, cereals, bread, rice, and some fruits and nuts are all good sources of carbohydrates. There are 2 types of carbohydrates: simple and complex. Simple carbohydrates are sugars. Complex carbohydrates are starches. Carbohydrates are the result of photosynthesis when plants combine carbon, oxygen, and water. Fats provide twice as much energy as carbohydrates, but are used primarily as storage components for future use. Fats can be divided into 2 groups. Fats that are solid at room temperature are called saturated fats and include animal fats, dairy products, and solid vegetable shortenings. Unsaturated fats are liquid at room temperature and are oils made from corn, sunflower seeds, and soybeans. Cholesterol is used by the body, but in some people it collects on the walls of blood vessels and can block the flow of blood. Cholesterol is found in saturated fats. It is advised to limit the amount of fats in diets because of the cholesterol question. Vitamins, minerals, and fiber are substances that are also important to a balanced diet. They contain no energy, but do play important roles in maintaining a healthy body. Vitamins are chemicals used for growth, repair, and other body functions. Fresh fruits and vegetables are rich in vitamins. Cooking often destroys vitamins, so eating fresh, uncooked fruits and vegetables is a good practice. Minerals are substances that are also needed for many important body functions. Like vitamins, they are not needed in large amounts. As an example, calcium is used to build strong bones and teeth. Fiber helps to keep your digestive tract functioning properly. It is found in such foods as whole grain bread, cereals, vegetables, and fruits. All foods can be analyzed for how much energy they contain. This measurement is called a calorie. Scientifically speaking, a calorie is the amount of energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. An instrument called a calorimeter can be used to test the energy potential of foods. The calorie that nutritionists refer to when describing the energy supplied by food is actually 1,000 calories of heat energy. Some foods are high in calories and some are low. For the average teenager to function, about 2,000 to 3,000 calories of food energy is required on a daily basis. Any calories that are not used as energy will be stored as fat tissue. So people eat various foods to bring into the body the nutrients needed to sustain life. When food is eaten, it is not in a form that can be used by the body, so it is broken down into nutrients through the process of digestion. This is how it works. There are two forms of digestion, mechanical and chemical. Mechanical digestion is the physical grinding and tearing of food to increase its surface area. Greater surface area means a better chance that chemical digestion can do its job. In chemical digestion, enzymes, which help to chemically break down food into simpler substances, react with the food. Digestion begins in the mouth, with the teeth, tongue, and saliva. The sharp-edged teeth tear and rip the food, while the premolars and molars, which have flat surfaces, grind the food into smaller pieces. That is the mechanical digestion of the mouth. Saliva is released into the mouth to begin dissolving the food and to make it slippery so that it can pass easily through the throat and esophagus. This is the chemical digestion of the mouth. The tongue helps to push the food between the grinding teeth and to mix it with the saliva. A ball of food called the bolus is formed and then swallowed. Muscles in your throat force the food downward. A flap of tissue automatically closes off the trachea or windpipe. This is a tube that leads to the lungs. It is required to get air into the lungs during respiration, but water or food is not wanted down this tube. After swallowing, the epiglottis goes back to its normal position and the trachea is once again opened for air. The food moves into the esophagus, which is a tube leading to the stomach. It takes about 7 seconds for food to move down the esophagus. The lining of this tube is coated with slippery mucus. The food is pushed along because of muscular contractions called peristalsis. Contractions behind the food push it forward. Food doesn't move down through the digestive tract because of gravity alone. Astronauts in space can digest food even in weightless conditions where there isn't any gravity because of the muscular contractions of peristalsis. Food moves from the esophagus into the stomach, which has a capacity of 2 to 4 liters. The stomach is made up of 3 layers of muscles that create a grinding motion. The churning of the stomach is the mechanical digestion, and at the same time, gastric juices are released into the stomach to carry on chemical digestion. The mechanical digestion helps to mix the enzyme pepsin and hydrochloric acid with the food. The pepsin and hydrochloric acid help to break down proteins in the food into simpler proteins. You've probably used hydrochloric acid in science class to conduct various experiments. You know that this is a strong acid that can easily burn through clothing. How does the stomach protect itself from this acid? Well, a mucus is used to coat the walls of the stomach. After about 3 to 6 hours, the food continues to move along through the digestive tract and from the stomach enters the small intestine. The food, which is now called chyme, is in a soft, watery form. The small intestine is anything but small. It is only about 3 centimeters in diameter, but it is 7 meters or about 23 feet long. Imagine this garden hose, which is 7 meters long, all curled up and folded around itself inside a human being. The food is pushed along by peristalsis and will now undergo major chemical digestion. 2 organs that are located near the small intestine, the liver and pancreas, will provide intestinal juices that will aid in this digestion. The liver is located to the right of the stomach. One of its important jobs is to produce bile, a substance that will help in digestion. However, bile is not an enzyme, but rather a salt solution that breaks down fat into small fat droplets. Then enzymes in the small intestine can work on the fat. When the bile is made, it is sent and stored in the gallbladder until it is needed in the small intestine. The pancreas is located between the stomach and the small intestine. It manufactures a substance called pancreatic juice. This juice contains many enzymes which will act on the chyme. The pancreas also produces sodium bicarbonate, which will neutralize the acidity of the chyme as it comes from the stomach into the small intestine. It takes anywhere from 3 to 5 hours for food in the small intestine to be digested. The proteins are broken down into amino acids. Carbohydrates are broken down into simpler sugars, and fats are broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. These nutrients are ready to be sent to the living cells of the body. To do that, the nutrients must be absorbed into the blood vessels of the circulatory system. The circulatory system, with its network of blood vessels reaching every cell of the body, will be the transport system. The walls of the small intestine are not smooth, but are actually covered with millions of small finger-like structures called villi. The villi contain small blood vessels that absorb the nutrients. These millions of villi increase the surface area of the small intestine 600 times. That translates to an area the size of a tennis court, ready to absorb nutrients into the circulatory system. As the food continues on from the small intestine, it is now made up of undigested food and water. Before entering the large intestine, the undigested food passes by a finger-like organ called the appendix. The function of this organ is not clear, but scientists believe it has something to do with helping the body fight bacteria and viruses. The undigested food moves into the large intestine, which is shaped like a horseshoe and fits around the small intestine. The large intestine is wider than the small intestine, with a diameter of about 6.5 centimeters. However, it is only 1.5 meters long. Over the next 18 to 24 hours, most of the water contained inside the undigested food is absorbed. Also, helpful bacteria living in the large intestine make vitamins K and B for use by the body. Finally, materials that are not absorbed are formed into solid waste. This includes such things as dead bacteria, food roughage, fat, and protein. This waste will move into a small tube called the rectum for storage. Then it is eliminated from the body through the anus, an opening at the end of the rectum. So, as we have seen, the digestive system, working in cooperation with the circulatory system, provides the trillions of living cells in our bodies with the needed energy for continued survival. To maintain a healthy body, consider a balanced diet and exercise. Weight control is a major consideration. Remember that the energy potential of food is measured in calories. You want to find a balance between the number of daily calories required by your body and the number of calories of food taken into the body. Calories that aren't used by the body are stored as fat, usually in a layer of tissue under the skin. So a person can maintain a desired weight if they only take in the number of calories their body uses up. If a person is overweight, they can lose weight through a regulated diet and exercise. If a person uses more energy than they take in, the body will break down stored fat to gain the energy that is needed. Food does more than just supply the necessary energy needed by the body. It also supplies the materials needed for growth, repair, and maintenance. It's important to take in foods that contain the necessary nutrients. A balanced diet that supplies carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and water is necessary for a healthy body. The United